I cook with my solar system with no problems, and what I'm finding out is that a lot of people can actually do the same. They just don't realize that just yet. Now, depending on the number of solar panels you have on your roof and depending on your battery bank, you can actually cook comfortably with your solar system. So I'll be coming back to that to let us know when we can and if it is a possibility or not, or the things we can actually do with our system. So before we get into that, let me run you guys through everything that you're going to be seeing on your screen right now. Now, this is my inverter. It's a 2 kV inverter, and you can see that it is drawing 6% already. Now, I've not put on the hot plate or I've not put anything on just yet. It's just my bulb lights and a few other things. So that's why it's giving out 6%. I think the television is on now, so that's why it is drawing 6% and one or two lights in the house. So this is my battery bank, which most of you would have seen before. And of course, these are my solar panels. Now it's a cloudy day, just to give us an idea. And you can see my charge controller. I'm getting somewhere around 25 amps from my charge controller. So it's a very dull day. This same charge controller I see, it gives us that maximum amps, which is 120 amps when my solar panels are really giving me power. And that's not all I get from my solar panel. That's just about 2/3 of the total power that I get from my solar panel. So I've not done a video on that. I'll be doing a comprehensive video on my solar system so you have an idea of the kind of system that I have. The first thing I want to say is that while it's a good idea to cook with your system, you have to grow your system to the point where you can do so much for you. I live in an unfortunate situation where we don't have grid power, and somehow I find myself repeatedly in life in a place where I just have to turn the tables around. For instance, I don't have grid power where I am, so I decided to just say, you know what, let's go all in so that we generate not just power to use at home, but to do other things like you are saying now, cooking, and of course to do other things. And to help us understand exactly how this works, if I say I'm not using my gas to cook, it is in the season that we're in now, because I do a lot of other things in other seasons that will not allow me to cook comfortably. So for this season that I'm in right now, I can cook 6 hours every day without any problems with the kind of system that I have. Why? Because the things I use my system to do, they are seasonal. I'm not in a season where I depend on my solar system for some things, which I'll be talking about in this channel also. So I don't want to go into that in any way. So in future, I'll be telling you guys exactly what I do with my solar system. I'll be doing a lot of videos on it because a lot of you are going to profit from me, because it's business actually. A lot of you can guess the business already, but I don't want to talk about it. I just want to go all in and tell you guys everything there is to talk about the business. And of course, if you're also interested, it's an opportunity for you to join the team of people who are doing that business. So that being said, let's talk about our experiment here. Somebody sent me a message in the comment section of one of my videos and asked me, how do I cook with my solar system? So that is the post there for you. So I just said, well, what's the point of responding and everything? Why not just do a video concerning it? So that's the video I'm doing right here. And of course, you can see my kettle there. You can see that the water is just being put on the hot plate, which I should have. The hot plate is old, but it's still working, so I'm leaving well alone. The inverter in itself is 1700 watts. So that is what the rating of this inverter is in watts. So by the time I put on the hot plate, depending on the percentage that it is giving me, we'll now know what it consumes. But that's not of so much interest. But it's also good to know how much it's consuming. If 1700 watts is the capacity of this inverter, assuming, that means at 10% we're looking at 170 watts. At 100% we're having 1700 watts. I hope it is clear. I want to put the hot plate on now. You're going to see the percentage jump to where it's supposed to be. I'm turning it on right now, and you can see that it has jumped to 91% about. So this to tell you how much it is consuming. I'm using more like the whole capacity of this inverter to cook, and you can see the voltage on the inverter. It dropped from the 27.12 to 25 point something. And if it was a sunny day now, you will not even notice. In fact, my battery should be full by now, and at the end of the day, you will not even notice any difference in the voltage. So in a future video, I'm going to show you exactly how everything operates for this my system, so you have an idea of how much power I make on a daily basis, the things that it does for me, and other things that you need to know. You want to stay tuned for that one. Now, just a little digression now. This is a video of me pumping water. My water got finished at night. I didn't have any choice. I had to still depend on these batteries to pump. So you can see what it is showing right now. So this is before I put it on. And now I put it on, you can see how much it's drawing. So it's literally drawing 100% from my battery. Yes, so that's to tell you that the pumping machine draws more power than my hot plate. So I do everything with my solar system. I'm just letting you guys know. So when it's time to press my clothes again, they talked about ironing. That one is not even a big deal. My press iron draws less than both of these, and it has a thermostat that turns on and off very frequently, so that one consumes much less compared to these ones. So I just decided to digress a bit so that I have an idea of what I do with my system. I have a few power tools that whenever I want to use them, as long as it's during the day, I can use them conveniently. So like I said, this is not a video to show you everything I do with it. There's going to be a video that I'll do comprehensive, and I'll be testing each and everything so that you just see exactly what it's doing and how it draws power. And of course, you see how much amps that goes through this charge controller when there's good sun as well. So these are things we'll be looking at down the line. Now, going back to our experiments, I've allowed it to be running so that you see. Now look at the weather outside. Like I explained, it's not good at all. That's why I'm getting just 25 amps. So you can see the weather is quite dull, and of course that is why I'm not getting good amps. I'm just going to show you guys a quick one. This is a picture that I took just before I started the experiment. I want us to have an idea of how long it takes to boil this water. So this water is about 4 liters. Let's just say 3.5, 4 liters, but we approximate to 4 liters. So that's what you have boiling. So we just want to have an idea of how long it takes for this hot plate to boil it. Because if we, these little calculations, depending on how you like contents like this, you can estimate what it will take you to cook your food. That's why some of these things, they matter. If I know that it took me maybe like 5 minutes to boil this amount of water, I can kind of estimate what I will be needing to cook my food. It all depends. So these are some of the things that if you like watching, you like the math and everything. I like figures a lot. I play with figures very easily, even off of my head. It's something I enjoy doing. And maybe in future, you just rough estimates of how things work, how much a freezer consumes in the whole day, how much a pressing iron to iron clothes for like 5 straight hours. Those kind of things, I enjoy them a lot. So maybe in future, I'll be letting us in on them, so that when you're having a solar system, the reason why it's important is this: when you're having a solar system, it's good for you to factor as much as you can into the equation. Are you living off grid? That means your solar will be very much. Are you connected to the grid? Then you now also know how to calculate, because a lot of people, what they do is that during the day we use our inverters to charge our batteries. Depending on the number of solar panels you have, you can do it in such a way that your inverter never charges your battery during the day. So that's depending on how much grid power you are getting. So in future, we're going to be taking these things one by one. So let me see how I can wrap up this video so that you guys, I will not bore you guys too much, but I'm just trying to help us understand the many things that I plan that will be watching on this channel. The water has gotten to the point where it's almost boiling right now. So you can see the hot plate is still fluctuating. It goes on and off. It has a thermostat inside of it. That's why it's going off. So you can see me raising the flask up right now, and you can see it goes on. After some time, it cuts off again. So that's how it behaves. I don't know if it is possible for me to remove the thermostat. I will, but it's not really affecting what I'm doing. But some inverters is going to stress them when it's coming on and off like this. It's just going to be putting some kind of stress on the inverter, because it's not good to be putting that kind of force start, force stop and everything on your inverter. So but thus far, these inverters, they are quite durable, and they are transformer based, of course. So I don't really have any worries as to that effect. Now you can see I'm pulling out the other. The water is just about getting boiled right now, and what I'm doing right now is to pull out the picture that I took immediately after the experiment was over. So we want to see how much time it took. So you can see the start time as the picture there, and this is the end of the whole experiment. So you can do the calculation for yourself to know exactly how many minutes it took to boil this water. Now mind you, all the experiment I did now is not a foolproof experiment. I removed the kettle a number of times, and of course the hot plate comes on and off. So one way or another, we cannot use this time frame as like a benchmark. So it's just a rough estimate, like I said. So in future, I'm going to be connecting it through my watt meter, so that will give us the exact amount of energy that we use to boil a particular amount of water. And of course, we'll now know exactly the time. So that time, I'm not going to bother to remove it from the hot plate for you to say I'm not going to open it. So opening it also affects the boiling time. So I'm going to do it in more ideal situations. So what I just wanted to demonstrate into this video is to answer the question of how do I cook with my solar system. So I hope this video is helpful, and of course you can see the voltage on the inverter. You can see how it is going up and down. That is to tell you that the hot plate comes on and goes off just like that. So that's what is responsible for it going up and down. Basically, if you want to know if you can cook with your solar system, you just need to know exactly how much energy you are getting from your solar panels, and you also have to consider the battery bank you have, because if your battery bank is not very big, you cannot use it at night. But if you have a lot of solar panels and you have fair weather, most likely you should be able to cook during the day. So I've done videos in the past to let us know how much solar panels give, but depending on the part of the world you are in, is going to also affect how much energy you are getting. In future, when I'm doing a review of my system, how much energy I'm getting, and the total array of solar panels that I have, that's going to help a lot of people to know exactly what their solar system can do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want to see, because I'm beginning to lean more on the comments so that I'll be doing videos along those lines, so that people will begin to understand how solar system works. And if you've not gotten your solar system, what kind of system should you get, and how should you plan for your solar system. So you can check my 5 kilowatt hour series. I've done a lot about your inverter, your charge controller, your battery, and I'm about to put one out there now for the solar panels. So do well to watch these videos. They are going to help you to make a very, very good decision when you are getting a solar system or when you are upgrading. Nothing is worse than being ignorant of the system that you have. Know everything you can about your system, so that when you have it, you can know the do's and don'ts. That's what I try to do on this channel. So see you guys, and catch you on the next one.